Yes, students, we are going to start with the lecture electromagnetic induction. This is, of course, we are doing in continuation. We have to go in detail of eddy currents because many conceptual questions also can be asked on the basis of eddy currents. These are actually the rilling currents or the looping currents you can see when you put a metallic block or a solid metal block, you can say you are putting it in the magnetic field, then the currents are produced which are termed as the eddy currents, or we call it as focal currents also. The demonstrations on the basis of which you can be asked with the question that why it is happening when we are putting an aluminum disc is placed on the core of an electromagnet. It means this is simply a solenoid. I'm making the current to pass through this solenoid by connecting it with a source of current. Then what happens that this aluminum disc, it starts jumping over this electromagnet. It jumps up to certain height. So what can be the reason for this? You should be able to explain that when you are making the current to pass, then of course magnetic flux is produced, and due to the magnetic flux, of course, if I'm saying the current is flowing anti-clockwise from the upper side, if I see, then north pole is generated on the upper side, and because of the Lenz's law here also, the north pole will be generated at the lower face of this aluminum disc, and as a repulsion will happen, and that is because of that repulsive force this aluminum disc will start jumping up, but of course it will go up to a certain height only, because this is only momentary. Whenever the change in magnetic flux is there, then only you can see this. Once there is no change in the flux, then it will stay as it is. Which can be there with you, that is softening or dampening of the oscillating metallic plate. When we put the metallic plate in the magnetic field, then it comes to rest because of the production of the eddy currents. But if we use the slotted plate, then it takes us, it can oscillate for a longer time. This also has been seen, which is the, of course, it means the dampening effect is reduced when we use the slotted plate. So this is used to minimize the effect of eddy currents. And of course, you should be aware of that these are the disadvantages of eddy currents are there, like production of the eddy currents in the metallic block leads to loss of electrical energy, of course, in the form of heat energy. This heat energy at times it breaks the insulation in the electrical appliances, and of course, as we have discussed, they cause the unwanted damping effect in the metallic plates when we are having the oscillating plate kept in the magnetic field. Then it stops after some time because of the production of the eddy current. So we have to minimize the losses due to eddy currents. For that, we are, like when we use the metallic cores in the transformers, dynamos, etc., then solid core is replaced with a large number of thin sheets, and these thin sheets of course should be electrically insulated. These are termed as laminations. So laminated core is preferred, and in laminated core we are using thin sheets. Of course, by this the effect of eddy currents is reduced, as has been seen experimentally also. These are the advantages of eddy currents. Like we are using in inductance furnace, eddy currents are used for melting iron core because heating effect is produced. When we put it in the magnetic field, then because of the eddy currents, heating effect is produced. Similarly, in speedometer, we have an aluminum cylinder which is they are attached with the wheel. So when the vehicle is moving, then again the change in the when it is made to rotate, the magnetic field, then eddy currents and induced EMF, induced currents are there, and due to that the pointer of your speedometer is moving and is telling you the instantaneous speed. In deadbeat galvanometer also the effect of eddy currents is used, and that is to stop the dampening of the coil. Self-induction, the next topic with you is self-induction. It is the property of the coil by virtue of which it opposes the growth and decay of the current flowing through it. This coil which is there is of course an insulated copper coil, which is termed as the inductor coil. When you make the current to pass by using this source, then of course the magnetic flux, when the current is flowing, it behaves like a magnet, and if it is flowing in the clockwise direction from the front poles, you can say it is acting as the south pole of the magnet. This will act as the north pole, and you can see that if I connect a bulb in series with it, it glows slowly, and when it is turned off the switch, then also it stops glowing also slowly. So that is simply proving that it opposes the growth and decay of the current. So this property is known as self-induction, and this is also known as inertia of electricity, as it opposes the growth and decay of the current in the circuit. These are the demonstrations which are further supporting the self-induction effect. Like one simple circuit is there, like we are connecting the battery with the inductor coil, which is simply a solenoid. This is the resistance coil, like we have discussed the resistance coil earlier also with you in the meter bridge experiment. We are using it. We are connecting the bulb B1 and B2 as shown in the circuit, and the key is there. Whenever we press the key B1, it glows immediately, but B2 glows slowly. And when key is opened, it means it is switch is turned off. Then you can say that B1 it stops glowing at once, while B2 takes some time to stop glowing. This is further supporting the fact that induced EMF is produced, which opposes the growth and decay of the current in the inductor coil. By Lenz's law, we have seen all these things. And another observation of yours can be that a spark is produced in an electric switch when light is switched off, because as you do this, then current begins to decrease. But a large EMF is set up which is trying to maintain the current in the circuit, and in a turn to go, we see a spark is produced. Of course, we are using this knowledge of the self-induction effect in making the non-inductive coil in the resistance box. If you see the inductor coils, they are rolled like this so as to decrease the effect of the self-induction. So these can be asked as the conceptual questions, or otherwise you can use it in the various places when the reasoning is asked. Self-inductance or coefficient of self-induction meaning is the same. This is again the copper coil which is wound. You can see it is like this. This is the laminated copper coil of KISS, and when we allow the current to flow through this, then what has been found that this magnetic flux is directly proportional to the current flowing. And if I remove the proportionality sign, I am getting a constant L, which is the constant of proportionality and is known as coefficient of self-induction, or you may call it as self-inductance. So L is the symbol for the self-inductance. You should keep in mind, and you can define the self-inductance. It is defined as the magnetic flux which is linked with a coil when a unit amount of current flows through it. Of course, you can get another definition by using the Lenz's law or Faraday second law. The definition, as we know that induced EMF is equals to minus d phi by dt, and phi it is equals to Li. So I can write this EMF it is equals to minus L di by dt. Now if this decrease it becomes equals to unity, then L becomes equals to the EMF. So you can say another definition that self-inductance is the induced EMF which is set up in the coil through which the decrease in the current, rate of decrease of current is unity. So minus of di by dt is equals to 1. So these are two definitions of self-inductance which you should be knowing. So it means one I can get from the first formula, second from the second formula, and these formulas we will be using to write the units of the self-inductance which is Henry, and 1 Henry I can write from the both the definitions. Like from the first definition, if you write L, it is equals to phi upon I, then it is equals to 1 Weber upon 1 ampere. And from the second definition, if you write, then it is equals to EMF divided by di by dt. So you are getting it volt divided by ampere per second. So the unit 1 Henry, it is equals to volt per ampere second. And of course you can write the dimensional formula also by this knowledge of this formula. EMF, it is equals to L di by dt, because your L, it is equals to epsilon upon di by dt, and epsilon, it is equals to work done in carrying a unit charge. So you can replace this. If small amount of charge is being carried, then I can write it as charge upon time in the denominator into di. So I am getting work done divided by I di. Both I and di, they have the units of current, so ampere square, and for work done it is mL2 T minus 2. So you are getting as a result mL2 T minus 2 A minus 2. So this is the dimensional formula, because you should be able to find dimensional formula of every physical quantity. If we want to find the self-inductance of a solenoid, then if I am having the solenoid of length L, number of turns capital N, so small n will be equals to capital N upon L. And we have already derived the formula for the magnetic field inside the solenoid when I am making the current I to flow is equals to mu naught N I. And it is equals to, of course, total number of turns per unit length. So magnetic flux we have now done with, it is equals to B into A. So I can write magnetic flux is mu naught N I A. And if I write for total number of turns capital N, then capital N, it is equals to small n into L. So you will be getting this as the total magnetic flux, that is mu naught N square I A L. But we know that this is equals to magnetic flux, it is equals to Li also because of the self-inductance. So if I equate both these values, I am getting the self-inductance, it is equals to mu naught N square L. And L, it is equals to mu naught N square divided by L into A, which is the area for the solenoid. And if I replace this air core with some other magnetic material having the permeability mu r, then this self-inductance L dash can be written as mu naught mu r N square A upon N. Or you can write it as mu r into capital L. It means the self-inductance for this solenoid with air as a core. So these both the formulas, it should be clear to you. And of course you should be able to find the energy stored in the inductor coil. If I am making the current I to flow, then EMF which is induced is equals to minus L di by dt. Now when you have to derive this current, then you have to do the work against this induced EMF. So I can write here a work done for against EMF, then epsilon will be given as L di by dt. Now if you are carrying dq is a charge which is driven through the inductor, then work done will be given by epsilon into dq. And epsilon, it is equals to L di by dt into dq. Now dq by dt is I, so you can write dw, it is equals to Li di. And total work done, if I am increasing the current from 0 to maximum current I naught, is given by integrating within these limits. So I am getting the work done. L is constant for a given coil, and this integral of I di is I square by. And when you put the limit, upper limit minus lower limit, you are getting work done, it is equals to 1 by 2 L I naught square. So this is the value of the energy stored, or I can call it as the magnetic energy stored. this work done, because it will be equals to um, which is equals to 1 by 2 L I naught square. This is very important formula. But of course, if you want to write for a solenoid, then you put the value of I naught from this formula B, which is equals to mu naught N I naught. And we know L, self-inductance of the solenoid, is mu naught N square AL. So you have to put these values here in this formula, and you are getting the answer for um is 1 by 2 B square AL upon mu naught. And if you have to write the magnetic energy density, then um bar, you can write um upon volume. Volume is AL, will get cancelled, it means here. So you are getting B square upon 2 mu naught. Of course, for remembering, you can always compare it with the electrostatic energy density, which was equals to 1 by 2 epsilon naught E square. So there you can compare the results to keep the results in your mind for a longer time. Of course, if we do the grouping of the coils, it means I am putting the coils in series, I am putting it in parallel, then also you should be able to do. Like in series, current I is same, epsilon can be written as epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2, and I know epsilon is EMF, which is equals to minus L di by dt. So for the first coil, it is minus L1 di by dt, and for second coil, it is minus L2 di by dt. So on comparison, you will see that L, it is coming out to be L1 plus L2. So you are getting the same result which you got for the resistances in series. Now if we are connecting in parallel, then this current is divided into I1 and I2. And when you I can write I, it is equals to I1 plus I2. And when I differentiate, I am getting di by dt, it is equals to di1 by dt plus di2 by dt. And now EMF, which is equals to minus L di by dt. From here you can find the value of di by dt, which is equals to minus epsilon upon L for the effective inductance. And for the first inductor, it will be minus epsilon upon L1. For second inductor, it will be minus epsilon upon L2. So if you put the values, you are getting 1 upon L, it is equals to 1 upon L1 plus 1 upon L2. Or you can write L, it is equals to L1 L2 divided by L1 plus L2. So it means for inductor coil, we are getting the same results which we got for the resistance coil. But for capacitance, of course, the results were otherwise. You have to keep all these results in your mind for solving your numericals and otherwise also. It's a simple question on the self-inductance. If they are asking current in a circuit falls from 5 ampere to 0 ampere in 0.1 second. So decrease in current is given, time is given, so you can find di by dt. Average EMF of 200 volt is induced, and you have to find the self-inductance. So self-inductance, the formula for E is equals to L di by dt. If I go with the magnitude, then L, it is equals to E upon di by dt. E is 200, di is 5 minus 0, that is 5, time is 0.1 second. So if you put the values, you are getting the answer for the self-inductance, that is 4 Henry, which is the Henry is the SI unit. So you should be aware of this. And of course, we can work out more numericals in the coming lectures. Keep things up to this. Thank you everyone.